This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
What is the sound of one hand clapping? What is the sound of one fist punching? What is the sound of the IronCast? Dear students, welcome once again to Season 2, Episode 2 of the IronCast, our podcast guide to the wonderful world of Netflix Iron Fist. Season 2, Episode 2, The City's Not Burning. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the handsomest man in the tri-state area, my skinny rich friend.
It's Mozz.
Yeah, no, for real. If you guys get to see a picture of Mozz, you'll go, wow, that is just man, to make you rethink a lot of things. That's all I'm saying. Okay, tonight's episode, Danny and Colleen strive to broker a badly needed peace. Ward crashes his sister's auction, and Joy plays matchmaker with a twist. Ooh. Oh, you know what? We forgot to do the credits on the last episode of the CageCast. Oh, well. Well, they won't be forgotten here. This episode was directed by Rachel Talalay. Our writers were, of course, Roy Thomas, Gil Kane, and all the Marvel guys who made this show or made these characters something to write home about. Scott Buck gets the created by credit. But John Worley gets our written by credit. Our executive story editors are Matthew White and Tatiana Suarez-Pico. And our story editor was Jenny Lynn.
You know, there's a really amazing female fighter named Tatiana Suarez.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look her up. She's badass.
I wonder if that's the same lady.
That'd be pretty cool.
You never know, man. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
You would certainly know about fighting. And we do get some okay fights in this.
We do indeed. We do indeed.
Although I gotta say, man, I mean, the hatchets.
Yeah.
I just gotta say, I get it. That's like your trademark, but I don't know. I just somehow I just imagine that there might be, more efficient ways to kill a guy. But I guess maybe you want you want to make a statement. You don't just want to kill him. You want to make a statement. And
well, the other thing is you gotta sort of come to terms with the fact that you're watching the Iron Fist. So, I think even the writers have given up and been like, yeah, all right, okay, they got hatchets. Nobody's going to care. I think that's what they're sitting in the writing room thinking.
Well, or you have that counter argument that this shows the changing nature of the world with superheroes. That it's not enough to just be a criminal. You've got to have your gimmick. You've got to have your hook. And you've got to have your way to make yourself known because there was one of the best things I liked about the Watchmen movie was one of the best things they changed about the comic book was they approached why people wore costumes. And originally it was just that, basically, in keeping with Alan Moore's thing, sex fetishists got dressed up to go get beat up or to beat up people. That was always his thing. But, in a more practical sense, at the very start of it, you do have the former Night Owl basically talking about why we wore costumes. And he said, it started with the gangs. The gangs figured, if you're just some hoodlums running a protection racket, nobody's afraid of you. But if suddenly you're the red ghost and you have all these mystical powers that people aren't quite sure of, suddenly having costumes and having a theme was a method of exerting power and dominance over your competitors.
Yeah, but also have guns.
Because people feared you. Well, yeah, I mean, here's what I'll tell you. I'm sure the hatchets use guns all the time. But the fact of the matter is that, especially in this moment, they want to send a message.
Right.
They want to send a message. They want you to know that this was a hatchet killing. Because the whole point is to draw out the golden tigers. You know.
Right, but like in the other battle scenes, they're all just fighting with axes too, and it's just like, come on, nobody has a gun. Nobody has a gun. You're gangsters, right?
Well, but then again, maybe there's that idea that guns make a lot of noise.
Fair enough.
And you fire a gun, the cops might show up, but nobody hears you when you hit them with an axe.
That's true.
And like I say, it's the idea of being very intimidating.
I'll buy that.
And yeah, because what you can say is guns are commonplaces. A guy pulls a gun on you, you pull a gun on him.
Yeah.
Guys come at you with the hatchets, and you may not well, wait, now what am I supposed to do? You can pull your gun on him, but then he's still running towards you with that hatchet, and it's freaking you out. So that's the hatchets for you. But that's just the start of this. We see Danny run into Mary again, and Mary is very, 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 very mentally ill.
Yes. No, she's totally the one that planted the box for.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. It certainly seems that way. She seems really interested in her.
Well, she seems interested in Danny.
Yeah, but by extension, her too. I think either Dan needs an excuse to get to her, or she's interested in her because of Danny or something, but there's something more there. I think she planted that box.
Okay, I mean, it's an interesting theory. I have not watched ahead, so I have no idea. It could be 100% true. I would not have thought that. I basically think the box is a separate MacGuffin. I think it's going to open up a different story. And maybe not. I honestly think it's probably going to open up a story that's not going to get resolved this season.
Oh, fair enough.
Because I think it's the kind of universe building backstory kind of idea. But we'll have to see. We will have to see what they wind up doing. As it is right now, we do have Mary, who is very, very disturbed and clearly is dealing with, someone else in her head. And I still believe that they are doing something with her hair to try and I think it's just, I don't think that they're doing anything. I don't think they're coloring it, but I think that because she is a really nice strawberry blonde, that the director is seeing how you can light it differently and have her look more blonde or more redheaded by how you light her. And I do think that is meant to be an important thing. I think that when she goes dark red, when she goes full ginger, that's when she's crazy.
A different personality?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, well I mean clearly there's two different personalities. I mean we see this, when she has her panic attack. And then, she goes to the bathroom, runs the water, and then all of a sudden the other personality takes over.
Huh. So I didn't catch that. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, since I know who Typhoid Mary is as a character, I know what to expect.
Interesting.
But I think that here's what I'll tell you. I don't know her that well. I just know that this is sort of a thing, is that she does have that split personality. But I do like how they're portraying it and how they're examining it. So I think it works out really nicely for her.
That's cool. It's a different take on it.
Yeah. Now, of course, we do have Davos and what's her name, Joy, teaming up here. And what's interesting with the Davos Joy team up is that they're both clearly not. I don't think that Davos enjoys working with Joy.
Hmm.
I don't think Joy enjoys working with Davos, but I think that they both sort of feel that basically working with the other is the compromise to get where they actually want to go.
Right.
You know, but they both want to go somewhere. And actually, this is what I really want to talk about is Davos, because I think that Davos's character in this is kind of a beautiful, sad story. Because you see, he is very much meant to be invoking what has become sort of this trope here in Marvel. We got it with Black Panther, and we got it with Bushmaster, of the guy denied his destiny.
Right.
Denied his destiny by evil men. But really, what I see with Davos is the exact opposite. That he was denied the destiny expressly because he was not the one that should get the destiny.
Right.
And I think that this is what's interesting in the battle, in the fight that we see for who will be the Iron Fist between Davos and Dany. And you'll see that every time Davos takes an advantage, it's because he's playing on Dany's compassion. Because when they first start fighting, Dany takes the advantage, and then Davos takes off his mask. So now Dany has to look at his friend's face. And then Davos presses that advantage. And in the end, when Davos is basically defeated, and he's just looking at Dany, to say, kill me. Because he knows Dany won't kill him. And he thinks that that's what's going to allow him to win, because he can force him to concede, because he will not kill his best friend just to be the Iron Fist. And he feels cheated because he felt that was the rule, it's to the death or to yield. I never yield, and I did not die, therefore I should have been the Iron Fist. But I think what his father is deciding there is that it is not so much that he did not yield, it was that Dany was the guy who wouldn't kill his best friend just to be the Iron Fist. And that someone who would force his friend to try and kill him.
Well, that's interesting.
Does not deserve to be the Iron Fist. That basically the reason why Davos isn't the Iron Fist is because he lacked compassion. He was too cruel in his own thoughts, and that because of that, he would never have been a good Iron Fist, because he would have been corrupted by the power of the Iron Fist. And I think that is, if nothing else, what we see now with what is happening with his story, with Joy, both in his own corruption. He is going to violate his standards of bodily purity because it is to his advantage.
Right.
And then when he faces the news that in order to maintain peace, he will not get this thing he is searching for.
Right.
And, he says, that you do it for peace makes me honored to know you. And then he goes and, gives the guy a stroke.
Yeah.
And it is such a statement that, again, I honor peace and I respect that, but still, I need to get what I need to get.
Right.
I need what's mine. And, again, this is why he was never really deserving of the Iron Fist.
I'm surprised he isn't able to see that.
Well, of course you can't see it, because he is so obsessed with it, If you're obsessed with it, you're never going to see what is right in front of you, because you don't want to see it. If he could see his own failings, he probably would be would be fit to be the Iron Fist, But it
Yeah.
is expressly the fact that he does not see his own failings that tells you that he does not deserve to be the Iron Fist. Oh,
Indeed.
and and I think that is very much the story of Davos and the Iron Fist. He is a man who is obsessed with what was denied him, never realizing that it was not denied him to give someone else an advantage, but it was denied him because he was truly not worthy.
Not worthy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any final thoughts?
You know what I'm hoping to see more of is Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're setting us up with how calm and happy and sort of even keel he is, how rational he is. Something bad is going to happen to him, and I can't wait to see it. It's almost like a George Costanza character, where you're just waiting to see what the next thing that's going to set him off and how funny it's going to be.
Oh, maybe. Although, I got to think that Ward's the guy that survives it. Because
You might be right.
Because he is the guy who keeps a level head. And he
Right.
is the guy who's he's the guy who's going to cut his losses if he has to.
Right.
He's the guy who isn't in a peeing contest with anybody.
Right, and I think in small situations, I don't think he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you even look at this whole thing with him and Joy, and really, of course, Danny's just like, well, okay, I'll sign whatever paper you put in front of me, and Ward is like, no, obviously she's doing this for a reason. And she's divesting herself to become our competition. And she wants these patents, and she wants all these patents because most are junk. But, there's something in here that we're not seeing, and we need to find out what it is that we're not seeing.
Right.
So, Ward is, in every sense, the good businessman. He is very much the guy who doesn't want to be evil, but he does run a multinational corporation, and you don't get to be a multinational corporation unless you are concerned with the bottom line. You can be concerned with other things, but you have to be concerned with the bottom line. And he is, trying to make the best of it and trying to do less evil, and
right.
And Danny doesn't get less evil, although to touch back with what we discussed with Luke Cage, we see Danny again here saying, let's make a deal with the gangsters. Let's broker a peace between the gangsters to have their criminal empires. And, let that be a reality that we can all live within.
Yeah.
That's my take on it anyway. I don't know.
You can see that.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so I think that's about everything that happens this episode. We ended off certainly with the stroke of general.
The head of the Tigers.
Yeah, the head of the. No, he was the Hatchets, wasn't he? Yeah, he was the Hatchets.
Well, right, he was leading an attack on the Tigers, right?
Yeah, he was leading an attack on the Tigers. And actually, I don't know if he actually dies. We just know he has a stroke, which certainly, which actually wouldn't necessarily kill him.
That's true.
It just it incapacitates him so that Davos can get what he wants. Okay. Any final thoughts on tonight's episode, Mozz?
No, I enjoyed the fight scene. That was pretty cool.
Yes. Well, the fights are always good. I mean, I do think that they do good choreography with this show. I do think that they have good. I think they do know that it is a kung fu show, and they try to give us as much kung fu as they can.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of this episode. I like the fact that it does parallel the final episode of Luke Cage in here, even on the second episode, where we see this question of how do I deal with being a superhero, but knowing that I can't solve all the problems. And how can I use my powers as a superhero to do the most good, even if I have to compromise my own beliefs? So,
Right.
it's an interesting take. We'll see where it goes.
Hmm.
So, Mozz, if people would like to talk to you about Luke Cage, Iron Fist, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or anything else that may be coming up soon, how can they find you?
Oh, they can email me at mozzmanzor@gmail.com or find me on Facebook under Mozz Manzor. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
And of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our Mozz and Paz once did, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Cloak and Dagger, and goodness knows what else, at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality. Thank you for listening to us once again, dear listener. As you walk upon the iron path towards the Iron Fist, know that it is not a path to a door, but a road that leads forever into the horizon. Good night.